Hey guys, it's Jake here with eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Ark Xtreme Off-Road Trailer Jack. Now, right away, you're saying to yourself, that does not look like a trailer jack. As well built and heavy built this is. I thought the same thing. I looked at it. It is extremely built well. When I first took it out of the box, the first thing I noticed was the sheer weight of the jack itself. It is going to have a very thick steel construction. All the steel around it, the plates, are all going to be 1/4-inch steel with a very, very sturdy and durable powder coat finish, so you're not going to have to worry about it over time rusting. What I like most about this jack is that it's going to accomplish many different jobs with all of the same jack. It's going to fit all of your needs, whether you're an off-roader, you're pulling a trailer with a bunch of side-by-sides on it, or four-wheelers, or dirt bikes, whether you're putting this on your camper, or a construction trailer. This is going to fit a lot of different needs with all of the different traits that it has about it. It can do a lot more than just your standard jack with a wheel. Now we're going to go ahead and start from the bottom and work our way up, just simply for the simplicity of understanding everything on this jack. Right away you're going to notice we're going to have 2 wheels instead of 1, which is going to give us more coverage when driving over or when pushing our trailer over uneven ground, such as the gravel that we're on here. We'll show you an example later of different terrains. One thing I like about it is that instead of having a plastic hub, it's actually going to, or a plastic wheel, it's going to have a steel wheel with that same durable powder coat finish, which is something I did not expect to see when I pulled this out of the box, but it is good to see that they included that, because this is going to help your jack last for a long time. The wheels themselves are going to be 8 inches in diameter and about 2 inches wide. The material is actually going to be a very thick, durable rubber. It's going to be solid, so you're not going to have to worry about it puncturing, obviously, because there's no air in it. It's also going to make it easier to roll over pavement and gravel and grass. All of us have had those times when we're rolling our trailer over concrete, for example, and you hit a crack or you hit a little rock. And what it does is when that rock gets in front of the wheel, it'll stop the wheel, and that's what causes flat spots on those plastic wheels. With these rubber wheels, it's going to be able to roll right over the cracks and the rocks. Now we'll go ahead and pull our trailer up to our truck by hand, kind of simulating you getting ready for a trip or for work, and kind of show you how easy it is to pull this trailer with this Ark jack over the gravel drive where we're on right here. You can see it's not getting caught on any rocks or anything like that. Whatever rocks it may come in contact with, and it's going to be able to roll right over them. Another thing I found with this jack is that any little minor adjustments you just saw me do are a lot harder with, first of all, with a jack without a wheel, but second, with a jack that has a plastic wheel. It's going to be harder to make those adjustments. And when putting your trailer onto your vehicle, it's going to have a nice, easy, ergonomic handle. They have finger grips on here. It's going to be made of it's kind of a harder rubber material, so not going to be cold in the winter, not going to be hot in the summer, but it's going to give you a superior grip to be able to jack up your trailer. Now, this handle is obviously more handy when you have a load on there. A lot of trailers I've used before had a real small handle you couldn't even get your whole hand on. I got pretty big hands, so this is an impressively large handle. As we get up here towards our jack being all the way up, I want to point out these pinholes here. So there's going to be 5 pinholes. We'll swivel this wheel around. You can see them all. What those are designed for is, depending on the orientation of your jack, whether you have it on the side of your trailer, the middle of your trailer, or on the other side of your trailer. Ours is on the passenger side, so we'll go ahead and crank it up. And what this is designed to do is once you crank it up all the way, you're going to see this pin go into that hole. And this is one of my favorite features about this jack, because what that's going to do is that's going to lock that wheel, so you're not going to have that swinging action, which in turn over time is not going to wear out those ball bearings in the swivel part of your wheels. A lot of times that's what the problem is why your wheel won't roll anymore, is because driving on the highway, that wheel constantly swaying side to side is wearing out the ball bearings, and nobody thinks to grease those ball bearings. So that for me is one of the most important features, just because it's going to keep it nice and stationary. And then what we can do is we can pull on this nice large handle. I love that this is a two-pin design. It's the latching mechanism, which you can pull this double pin handle, which is also going to be a harder rubber design. Pull that pin system and then rotate the whole jack. Very, very audible and firm latching. That is, I like that because I know that it's latched into place. It's not going to go anywhere. Right here, you can see that is why we picked that pin position. Again, if you flip it the other way, you would want the pin in the opposite position. So you can see there, we would want the wheel flipped up if that's the orientation of your wheels that works best for you. We can flip it over. So yeah, that's another reason why that pin is so important to me, because now we can flip this handle up, and now our jack, the bottom of our jack is actually still higher than the frame on our trailer. Great for low clearance situations, or just situations you might be getting into. You might get into a dip or something, or a speed bump that's too tall. You're not going to have to worry about any parts of your jack running into anything for low clearance. Now let's talk about height adjustability. With your crank handle, you are going to get 10 inches of height adjustability, or 10 inches of lift. So cranking the handle, your jack is going to come out 10 inches, which is fantastic for different size vehicles that may have different hitch heights, but may not have an adjustable ball mount. They did include one other feature which I really like. You normally only see this on heavy-duty construction trailers and with dump trailers and things like that, and trailer jacks with the adjustable leg on the bottom. So what'll happen is you'll drop that leg first and then start cranking up your jack. Well, they've got you taken care of here, but instead they've incorporated it into the entire jack body itself. So you can see these 3 holes here that aren't being used. Our other 2 holes are being used by this U-bolt pin system. What happens is, we'll go ahead and flip it down, and what happens is you can see how high it is off the ground. This I have set for my truck, but if you have a little bit shorter vehicle, what you do is you pull this pin, lift it up till it locks into place, and that's what that's going to do, is it's going to take up some of the crank time, so you're not going to have that annoying time cranking it all the way down to the ground. What you do is, within a stowed position still, what you can do is you can pull this pin. It's going to drop the trailer jack to the ground. I recommend lifting it up till it locks into place. And now see how close our jack wheels are to the ground. If you're using it with the same vehicle and the same ball mount every time, this is okay to do. If you're not, and your neighbor wants to borrow your trailer, it is a courteous thing that you can do for them to pull it up at least one hole size, so it gives them that extra 2 inches of space from the wheel to the ground to be able to adjust it. Otherwise, I did get into a bind earlier today, kind of playing around with this a little bit. What I had was, I had the jack, I had it too low, so I had it in this hole position, and when I lowered the jack all the way, it was still an inch higher than the ball on my truck. So I had a set of floor jacks that I could set the trailer down on it, but I don't want you guys to have to deal with any of that. So always put it one hole higher than what it drops to the ground to. It just gives you a little bit, you will have to crank a little bit more, but you won't run into that same problem I did. What else it does is when you're in the stowed position, again, this handle folds up into the stowed position, you don't have to worry about it sticking out. If you have it further out than I do, and you can see there it makes contact with our trailer back here on the back, what you can do is once you get into the stowed position, you can just slide it up to where it fits your needs the best. That's, in my eyes, that is a very, very cool feature because you can just slide it back and forth. You want to make sure your top of your jack is not too close to your vehicle and the back of your jack's not too close to your trailer. Now, one feature that Ark included on this jack, and all of their jacks for that matter, is something I would have never thought to put on a jack. When I was pulling this out of the box, I could not find a handle in the box. Eventually I found it, but I was looking at it, didn't know how it attached, didn't know how it secured to the jack itself, and I was reading in the instructions, and it's magnetic. I've never seen a magnetic detachable handle. What it's going to do is going to have a really strong magnet in there. What you can do is you put it on, use the jack as you will when you're done. For the sake of not having the handle on there, it's nice because it's, again, not swinging around while you're driving on the road. When you're not using it, you throw it in your toolbox and it acts as a theft deterrent. That is probably my most favorite feature about this jack, is that handle is detachable. One, you're not going to have to worry about wear and tear. Again, on the gears inside here, with the handle swinging back and forth when you're headed on the road, you're not going to have to worry about strapping it to the side of the shaft of the jack. You can take it off, put it in your toolbox, put it in your car, and then when you're ready to use it, you just simply slide it back on. One thing I would recommend is don't put it too far from the trailer. So if you stow your trailer in the backyard or whatever, just keep it in your garage. That way, in case you do want to lend out your trailer, putting it in your vehicle is probably not the best idea. But if you lend it out to a friend or a neighbor or a family member, they are going to need that handle in order to operate the jack. Now, a couple weight capacities for you guys so you know what you're getting. The Ark Xtreme off-road jack, this one in particular, is going to be able to lift up to 1,100 pounds of tongue weight, which is quite a bit. I don't think you're going to have to run any issues, worry about not being able to lift a trailer off your ball mount on your truck. If you get home from a hunting trip or something, you want to be able to lift your trailer up and just leave your load on there. Or if you're loading something up the night before and you want to jack your trailer up and leave it sitting in the driveway. Now, with that being said, that's not all the jack can handle. The jack can handle 1,600 pounds of weight on it. That is with the load sitting on the trailer when not in use. So you can't crank it up with 1,600 pounds on the tongue. What that's good for, in my case, if I was doing a side job, landscape or something like that, and I had this on a dump trailer, what I would do is I would uncouple it from my truck, jack it up to be able to get my truck out of the way, leave it parked with the trailer chocked, be able to throw dirt and bushes or whatever in the back of the trailer up to 1,600 pounds on the tongue and still be able to lower the jack onto my truck, but I wouldn't be able to lift it back up. Now, the installation is going to be a very simple, straightforward installation. Obviously, it is going to be all depending on what size trailer frame you have. We have a 3-inch trailer frame here on the side there, C-channel. It is going to fit between a 3 and a 6-inch trailer frame, so you can see how massive this frame is. What the biggest trouble we had when putting this jack on our trailer, because we have a toolbox here, was the sheer size of this plate, this backing plate. It is about 8 inches by 8 inches, so you do need some space. We were able to kind of adjust our box a little bit in order to get it to fit because we really like this jack, so we wanted to make it fit for our customer. But I would say that was the only difficult part about mounting this jack is to find a place to fit it. So make sure you have at least 8 inches free on the side of your trailer tongue to be able to mount it. On the inside here, it's only going to take up about 1 inch. So if we come around here and look at how close it is to our toolbox, it's actually touching our toolbox, which isn't a huge deal. But you can see we had to push our box over a little bit to be able to get this bracket in. Now, one feature you couldn't see with the jack in the stowed position, but I wanted to make sure I point out because it's very important, possibly one of the most important, is they do include a grease zerk here on the back. That's going to make it very, very easy for you to lubricate all the inner working parts of our jack so that it's working smoothly for you for a long time. Now, just for grins, let's go ahead and put our jack down, get our trailer off of our truck, and we'll go ahead and push it through some different scenarios that you may run into on your everyday encounters. Now, we could all think of worst case scenarios of what we could take this jack through with as heavy built as it is, but I believe it's my job to show you a daily life scenario of what you would be going through at your house when hooking up your trailer or wanting to go on a trip or something like that. Ark actually does have a video that we have, and what they show is they show it going through some sand, dragging it through sand with a winch. It's designed to be that third wheel of contact, for example, on our two-wheel trailer, to be able to put a winch on the front of your trailer and be able to winch your trailer out or your camper out when you get into some trouble. Now, that is going to be an extreme case. For your all's sake, it's probably just going to be, you know, your everyday gravel, cracks in the concrete, different things, but I can tell you this jack is going to overcome all of them. Now, here you can see I'm pushing the trailer through a couple of divots here in the road, and you can see the wheels are having no problem going in and out of the divots just by me pulling it by hand. And we're going through some screenings that is really, really small, fine, broken up rock. And a lot of the times with the single wheels, what will happen is it'll sink down into this rock. Now here I'm pushing it through a larger pile of rock, and you can see it's having no trouble going through. And finally, we're going to push it through a bit of mud here, and you can see the wheels with the dual wheel design is not going to sink into the mud. Now I just kind of want to recap everything we did today. I did pull the trailer by hand through all that, or push it. It just goes to show you how much this jack is going to help you out in your daily life of using your trailer. But with all that being said, that's going to do it for our look and review of the Ark Xtreme Off-Road Trailer Jack.